Hi everyone, and welcome to my next video. Today I'm going to be talking about the biggest differences in birthday celebrations between Russia and the UK. Now, when I was in Moscow, I was lucky enough to be invited to a birthday party of one of my favorite students. And when I was there, I realized that the guests at this party were mostly her best friends. So I felt very, very honored to be there. Now, we had a really great time, but there were some very clear differences between the way that this group of young Russians celebrated and the way that young British and American people, like myself, celebrate their birthdays. So I'm going to talk to you today about the biggest differences between the two cultures. So for each point, I will talk about the Russian way, followed by the British way, so you can see the difference. But before I begin, let me tell you just one thing. I don't believe that one way is better than the other. I think the party I attended in Moscow was a wonderful way to celebrate, but I also think my birthday celebrations in England were wonderful too. So there will be no criticism in this video, just an explanation of the different styles. Okay, so let's go. So the first difference is food. So in my experience, one of the biggest differences between a British birthday party and a Russian birthday party is the food. Now, when Russian people host a party at their home, the food is often savory and quite uncomplicated, in my opinion. There's usually lots of fruit, cold meat, bread, and pickled vegetables. The sweet foods are usually cake with fruit and cream, and there's often some vodka and some wine, maybe. And it seemed to me that Russian people use their birthday celebration as a reason to get good quality and expensive or healthy foods that they would not normally buy. But in Britain, it's almost exactly the opposite. At my birthday celebrations, I go out of my way to buy junk food. Crisps, chocolate, biscuits, sweets. Usually we choose the worst foods we can think of because they just remind us of being children. We never eat healthy food at birthday parties, and we don't usually cook. Normally we get pizzas or takeaway, things like this. But I guess it's all for the same reason. We all enjoy eating food that we do not usually have every day. Just for Russians, it's more expensive, pure delicacies, whereas in the UK it's junk food. And the second difference is activities. Whilst many young British people celebrate their birthdays with family in the same way as young Russians, there is a difference when we celebrate our birthdays with friends. When I went to my Moscow friends party, the party took place around a big table where the emphasis was food, talking, friendship. Now, this isn't totally different in the UK. But if you ask many people what they did for their last birthday, they will often answer, I went out and got drunk. So people still want to be with their friends and have a lovely time, but usually alcohol is the main focus. People tend to go to clubs and bars on their birthday, and if they do stay at home, they will usually drink and listen to music. Also, something that doesn't happen in England, which was the best thing about the Russian birthday party I attended, was the part where all the friends who were there stood up around the table and said a few words about the host and why they were happy to be friends. Now, this was the nicest part of the evening, and I really think it's a shame that British people put all the emphasis on having a party and drinking rather than honouring friendships and appreciating one another. The third difference is organisation. So the one difference where it's 100% opposite in each country concerns the organization of the celebration and how it's financed. I know in Russian culture it's traditional for the host, so the person who's having the birthday, to pay for all the food and the venue for the celebration, and then the guests just come and enjoy everything for free. In return, the guests bring gifts and say wonderful things about their hosts. But in England, it's the opposite. It's traditional for the birthday girl, the birthday boy, to pay for almost nothing on their birthday. So if, for example, there's a party at their house, they may provide the basic food and drink, but really the guests will bring the alcohol, they will bring the cake, they will bring the fun food. And then if they go to a bar or a club, people will buy them all the drinks. It's also common for guests to pay for the birthday girl, birthday boy's meal in a restaurant too. Now, there is a small problem with our system. Often, in my experience, lots of guests decide that they don't want to come to the party, especially if they think that they won't be able to pay for it. So many young people decline invitations to parties because they just can't afford to go to these clubs, or they can't afford expensive meals at restaurants. This means that sometimes the people you care about can't come to your party. So I actually prefer the Russian way because it means that your celebration is based on your own budget, and then all your friends can come regardless of their financial situation. So there you have it, some differences in birthday celebrations. I hope it was interesting for you, but please remember that I have not attended every birthday party in Russia ever, and I definitely haven't attended every British birthday party either. So maybe you disagree with everything I have said, but this was just a summary of my own experiences and the differences that I have personally noticed. So, how do you celebrate your birthday? Which style do you think is best, British or Russian? Is there a Russian style? Was my experience unique? Or is this what everybody does? Let me know in the comments section. I really enjoy all your discussions. Very interesting for me. So I hope you enjoyed my video, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye!